Okay, so we just go to various certifications and also just do introduction on SOAP UI. Okay, SOAP UI it's a tool to test web services. It comes under QA actually. It's a QA, but it's a little bit kind of different because here you are using web services like Wisdom. Okay, web services description language called Wisdom are REST. Okay, those are the things you're using here. So just go to them pretty quick and see. So here, right, certification. So you want to see here, why do we really need this certification, right? If you have this ISQB certification, that's fine. Okay, that's good. You're good. But I didn't see anyone, send an email for the homework. So let's go to it pretty quick here. So the thing is, why always, right? So here, when you put in your resume, you're putting a lot of information, right? You're putting a lot of information in your resume saying that you have done this, this, a lot of things. So you want to justify some of this, right? Let's say you're certified. You say, okay, I'm certified as a QA tester or QA analyst. You know what? I have a certification. I have certification from Microsoft. From C, this is from MBA actually, Microsoft Virtual Academy, and it's from Microsoft. It's from Microsoft. So let's go here. So what you want to do is once you go, and this doesn't take much time. Yeah, I mean to start with it will take some time, but first you need to have this email ID. And let's see, let's put software testing. Software testing. Once you do this, it shows up, right? Software testing fundamentals, and you want to go here. And you want to sign in. Let's. So once you send, so this Microsoft requires their own email ID, like Hotmail or Outlook.com, Live.com. So anything is fine because they will be only having access. You can only use only if you have that Microsoft email ID, right? Gmail, Yahoo doesn't work. You need to have the two. So so this is few 6 modules, and every 6 modules and some video here, and also you'll have this assessment. Okay, so once you complete this assessment, it should be at least 4 out of 5. Okay, so you have to at least one round is okay, and once you answer this, okay, once you're done with this, right, once you complete all these modules, you will be getting certificate. Okay, so let's see that. Go to the dashboard and courses accomplishment. And if you see here, software testing fundamentals, and let's see here. Okay, so this is how you can get a certificate. Okay, so this is free. This is free. You don't have to pay anything, or you don't have to do anything. Just literally you have to just log in and just go over here and just hear a few recordings. But this whole thing will actually takes. Let's see here. It actually takes 3 hours. Okay, but yeah, so 3 hours, 6 modules, 6 assessment that includes. Okay, so but for some people it took like 1 day, some people 2 days. That's fine. Okay, that's the reason I gave like almost a week, around 1 week, right? So okay, so you can complete whenever you're free or whenever you have time. Okay? So that's the advantage of having this. And the reason you have the certification, right? Thing is, there's a lot of resumes. There's a lot of resumes that we get at the client place, right? A lot of people get resumes. It's like um, it's like 20 resumes. They get like around 20 resumes, and only 10 gets into the client place, and only 5 people get shortlisted in that. Okay, so that's how they filter it. And once they get 5 people, they'll interview maybe 2 or 3. That's it. Okay, they got shortlisted doesn't mean that they will get an interview. Okay, they got shortlisted, but client ignores it. Now we don't need. So what happens is that 2 to 3 people, gets interview, and once they interview, they will have series of questions. Okay, so are you, because they will match their own requirement with their resumes. Okay, you have the skills, but we are looking for certification. Do you have any certification? Because we are not, um, um, we are only looking for people with certification who are certified. So do you have any certification? If you say that time no, then that means that's done. The interview is over. There's no more questions. Okay, so that's the reason we want to put some certification. And even if it is like you can also tell what, yeah, I have done software testing. This is this is my certificate from MBA. This is from Microsoft. From Microsoft, it's Microsoft Virtual Academy. And this is how I'm certified as software testing fundamentals. I know pretty much in software testing. So this is my certificate. Maybe you can take the hard copy and tell them, to show them, yeah, this is the we can verify this online. There's no issues. So I mean, the software testing. This is what you want to make sure you have all this. If they ask you for certification kind of things, okay, there should be. And even if they don't, you want to tell about yourself, yeah, because you want to get the job, right? So there's only one position, and there'll be like 5 guys, So that's how it is. So, you have to make sure this gives the cutting edge for your job, so that okay, you're certified. Okay, yeah, we are looking for certified candidates. Yeah, that's good. You're from Microsoft. Yeah. Okay, so that's how we want to do. And also Microsoft also provides a transcript, so make sure you also can get the transcript too. That means if you are enrolling for school or something, you will get partial credit waive off. Okay, some of these credits gets waive off if you have this transcript. Okay, that means you already know some of this information here. Okay. So yeah, so that's about Microsoft, and this is good. If you fail with first attempt, that's okay. If you fail, you can reattempt immediately. It's instant. Okay, if you fail, just go ahead again. We have to start from again from here. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and again you can attempt it. So this you don't have to do anything. Okay? If you fail at that, you can just reattempt at the same time. So that's the good about just Microsoft actually. So, okay, so let's go to the next one. There is one more thing actually, there's one more solo learn. Okay, this is good too, but the only problem with this is they have limited tutorials. Let's see here. We want to account for this too. If you want to just for these guys have some limited. Okay. So it's offered fully for Java, Python, C++, Ruby. So that's it. I mean, they only they have offer. Maybe you can take for SQL fundamentals. That should be help you out. Okay, SQL fundamentals is good. Once you finish that, once you complete this, and you can get a certificate. Okay, this is how you can get a certificate if you completed the course. So this should be quick, and this doesn't take a long time. Okay. This will help you to put in your resume, because you have to put in your resume, right? That yeah, you know SQL fundamentals. Okay, you certified as SQL fundamentals, and you want to make sure if you. So this is free. So this is free, and you don't have to pay anything here. You just have to go to online and just finish. Um, finish this course. There's some assessment. Once you complete this assessment, you will get this certificate. Okay, so that's about this, and also right. There's one more actually, Sailor. The Sailor is for the advanced people. So if you want to complete this certification, you should know what you're doing, because this is little advanced. Like that means if you fail the first attempt, that means you have to wait for more one, almost 1 week or something like that, 7 days. So you have to wait for 7 days, and you will not, unless it is completed, okay, you cannot go forward. So that's the only problem. But this covers almost most of this, not just testing. It's actually covers most of this from project manager. Let's see here. Let's see. So we give some introduction to software engineering, and then software development lifecycle. We have talked about this, right? And then we have software marketing. This is for more for a business analyst and product owner people. Okay, so but you still have to just understand this of this, and you have this software requirement gathering. Again, is for business analyst. Requirement analysis is for architect. Okay, also architect currently is working on. And software design is again, for architect people who are working. Implementation is for developer who is working on. Testing here is, for the QA guys. Project manager for project manager. Okay. Scrum master, then it is, and the case studies. Okay. So once you complete all this, then you will be getting a certificate. Okay. So, but this is challenging because you need to not only just know all the things, but also you have only one attempt. You can only do it in one attempt. Okay. Um, and you can take it, but it takes time. Like, you have to wait for 7 days. You lose the interest, right? So you need to make sure you are doing right. So if you're doing it, you have to make sure it is performed. But it just takes some time, because you see here only one course it takes 13 hours or 9 hours. Okay, so you have to make sure. Okay, you want to attend that if you want to get certificate. So let's see here. So once you get this, you get this certificate actually. Okay. So this is how it looks like. So they also have this verification ID, so that you can verify this online too. Okay. So now if you are free, you can also complete that. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's go to pretty quick here for the SOAP UI. Okay. This is also a QA. Okay. But here this is a little bit different, because here you're doing web services testing. Okay, web services testing, and let's see. So sometimes they don't say what tool, right? So they'll say, "Have you done web services testing?" Okay, so they'll be saying, "Have you done web services testing?" So you need to know that web services REST, REST UI. So you need to know that they will be using a tool, something to web services testing means not just that take the web services and do testing. You have this something called tool. Okay, here you use let's say here this is SOAP-UI. Okay, this is SOAP-UI. SOAP-UI means it's simple object access protocol user interface. Okay, that's what is SOAP-UI. Simple object access protocol user interface. Okay, so that means if you are doing some web services testing, so you need to know that you are using this tool. Okay, this is a tool. This is not just only one. There are many, but this is free, and you can download it. And maybe after a few months or something, it can also be online, so you can also practice online. Okay, so here, what do we exactly, so we need to know here, what do we exactly do in this SOAP-UI? So this is actually the web services you see here. This is a web service. So let's say if you have, let's see how this web services looks like. It's actually, it's kind of XML. It's kind of XML, if you know it's let's see, sample web services. Let's see if you can get it. So exactly, comes in .WSDL extension. Okay, it's .WSDL, that means Web Services Description Language. Okay. Okay, yeah, man. This. Okay, so here this is an example of WSDL. You see here, because the ends, you see here. You see here, this comes in extension. We are using XML, it comes in .xml, so similar like this. Okay, so this means it's .WSDL. WSDL means Web Services Description Language. Okay, and this is how it looks like. This is kind of XML, right? This is kind of XML, and instead of that, you have this WSDL. Actually, you use this WSDL. It's a lot of things here. Okay, so what somebody asks you, okay, have you tested this? WSDL. They'll ask you, you tested this WSDL. Okay, so yeah, now you use a tool called SOAP-UI. SOAP-UI is actually simple object access protocol user interface where you actually put the WSDL. I know where do you put here? This is the tool. It's the tool, and you put your WSDL right here. This is called endpoint actually. See here, endpoint. That means like you put in this URL in your browser, right? You put the URL in the browser, right? Similarly, you're putting WSDL here. And of course, you need to set up. You need to set up here project, which project you're working on. Once you set up and put this, okay, then you're actually trying to get this move here and put this request. So this is actually a request. And once you put the request, you put this WSDL here and run the response. Sorry, run the request. Okay. Now what happens exactly here is when you run this, this is a WSDL. Okay, this is a WSDL, and you're running it, right? You just click this button and run it. So what happens is you get this response here. Okay, this is the response. So what happens in the backend is it gets to the server. Okay, it gets to the server, and it communicates with the server, and the server gives a response back to this. Okay. So that's that's about this WSDL. And actually, so here if you see here, once you get that right, once you get it, and once you get the response, okay, this is the logs. You get this lot of logs here. Okay, so PY and the HTTP log, JT log, error log. Okay, all these memory logs you can see here. Okay, so all this information you will be able to see here. And one thing. Okay, so let me give an example. So what exactly is WSDL, right? I mean, what WSDL is all about, right? You have to know that, right? I'll just give you an example how this, what's this WSDL is. So if you're, maybe you guys have called out of phone, right? Let's say you're calling Bank of America, right? You're calling Bank of America. The moment you called Bank of America, that's IVR. That's called interactive voice response. Okay, what happens there is the customer executive doesn't pick up the call. You go to the store, right? Remember, you go to this automated service. There's an automated service there. So so the you get this like IVR. Welcome to Bank of America. Please enter your account number. Please enter your PIN. Or please enter your SSN. All those things, right? They ask a lot of questions. So that is actually the web services. Okay. So that means whenever you either enter through your phone, or you can even use voice recognition. So whenever you use this, all this information, whatever you're saying gets updated here, right? So all this information is actually whatever you're trying to say is actually here. It's getting updated, and then it goes to server and validates there, and shows the response. So is it the right guy or is it the wrong guy? That is IVR, interactive voice response, is an example for web services. That's how they use this web services. Okay, that's an example. That means not just only IVR. There is a lot of places for integration of the web services. I'm sorry, website various modules and a lot of there's a lot of use here. But an example for your better understanding is IVR, interactive voice response, that you actually call there, not just Bank of America, any company is called Walmart, or Bank of America, or call any corporate offices. When you call it, they will have this web services, and only when you enter this correct information, only this you'll be getting better response. This really uses web services. So as a QA, you might also be involved in testing web services. Okay, so that is actually one of the things. Any questions so far? So there might be simple questions. So they normally don't discuss any tool or something. They'll just ask you an interview question, right? Interview question saying that, do you know WSDL? Do you know WSDL? So that means they're talking about web services description language. Okay, and that how does it looks like? This is how it looks like, kind of XML, right? And why do we use it? Just an example, right? IVR. That's what we use it. The other question is, have you tested it? So to test that, you need a tool. You're not testing just open this browser and using this testing here. You have to use some kind of tool. Where here we are using SOAP UI, Simple Object Access Protocol User Interface. Okay, and just put your WSDL in this endpoint. Run this request, we get the response based on the server response. If there is issue, that means if there is error, so how do you know? You can go here logs, check this logs, and then if there's any defect, you have to open defect. So this is kind of QA kind of thing. Any questions so far? So you can download this. Okay, this is SoapUI is for free. So maybe normal one is free. Pro one is maybe you have Pro one is too. Yeah, you can on the normal one you can get it open source and you can use it. For WSDL, you can use some sample WSDL like this. Okay, I use this WSDL and use this WSDL and run this request, and you get a response and see how this gets a response from the server. And You can see is it failed or is it passed. See its logs. You can check this logs and see. Any questions so far? Okay. So that is about, this is small topic and so PUI actually. Okay, so okay. So let me give some actually um, I was trying to give on TFS actually Team Foundation Server, but we just go through here. We just have this understanding on ETL because if you guys are coming back to me, um, for the market reviews, then we have to know this. Okay, that's the reason, because before, if you don't know this, then you're not an ETL tester. Okay, not even tester. You're not an ETL guy. Simple. You don't just figure it out. The way you talk is simple. You just figure it out. This guy has not worked in ETL. It's no fine. Even if you know everything, database, data warehouse concepts, OLTP, OLAP, natural key, primary key, candidate key, all these things are gate keys, and you know everything. But if you don't know this project, don't figure it out, you will not work. Simple. Okay. So this thing, you want to get some understanding here. Okay. So this is a sample project. Whenever you go for work, right? Whenever you want to go for work, this is the sample projects. There's a lot of projects, migration projects, and upgradation projects, and a lot of things. But this is one of these. Okay? So what happens here? Whenever if you are doing an ETL, right? Let's say you're trying to do ETL, right? Now you have okay, you know this, right? There's two important things. This is the source, okay? This is the source. This is the staging, and these are the target. We just see why these two. One can be okay. One can be good, okay. But here in this case, getting two. Okay, we'll just see here. One is okay. You might want to be one, but in this case, we're taking two. Okay. So what happens is, if you see here, there's a lot of um, there's a lot of sources here. Okay, so there's a .NET application, Java, SAP, Oracle. That means this can be data. This can all be a data, and this can be a lot of information source. So that's the reason you don't want to query always the source, because the source has too much of information, so TBs of data. Okay, so that's the reason you want to go with the staging area. Okay, because a lot of things, and you only require what are the data what is required for the for your testing perspective or for business perspective. So that's the reason you want the staging. Staging is whatever the required data will be put in the staging. Now we have TBs of data is reduced to some GBs of data. That should be good. Okay. So what you exactly do after this is, once you do that, okay, there's a lot of things. Okay, flat files and XML files and fixed length files, a lot of things. Okay, but what you are doing here is, at the end of the day, is lot of transformations. Okay, use data. Okay, so this is use various tools actually. Here this is an Ablisio. You can use Ablisio or Informatica or SSIS or DataStream. So these are the tools. What you do with this tool? You do a lot of things. Okay, data scrubbing, data morphing, data cleansing, there's a lot of things. Okay. Okay, you're a tester, you're not going to do all this, but you want to know this because this is the whole process in the system. Okay, this is the process in ETL. Okay, so all this will be doing by some developers, some architect guys, and a lot of people are involved here. Okay, to do this. Now, once you use this ETL tool, okay, here we are. Okay, we are here. So we put the data all into this staging area, and what you do is do the ETL in that. Okay, what is ETL? You do a lot of things: data morphing, data scrubbing, data cleansing, a lot of things. Once you do, and that's the reason you have this transformation logic, right? Whenever you start querying, you get this transformation logic, and you could dump that whole thing into landing zones. This is called landing zone. Okay, so that's it. That's how this the small project is. It's a small project. Okay, this is it. Okay. Now, what happens is, let's say the reporting guys. Okay, the reporting guys showed up saying that, hey, this data, whatever we did is not enough. Okay, it's not enough. Because business requires more data and they need more accurate information on what's happening. Okay, let's say this employee, how much salary they are getting for the employee. See that. Okay, all this is stored here somewhere, all this in database. Okay. So now they'll say that no, this is not enough. We need to do more transformation for this. So what you do is, okay, what you do is put more ETL. So this is ETL again. They do more transformation. Maybe they're moving the data from one database to another database. All those things. So that's more transformation, and put into target database. Okay, this is take it as data mart. In this particular data mart is actually subset of database, right? That means also data mart is actually if you have a house is a database. And if you have a rooms in a house, that is called data mart. So every room, you have 3 rooms, right? That's kind of house is the database, and rooms for each house you have this rooms, right? One room, second room, third room. That's the data mart. Okay, a small space allocated for you in the database. Small specific space and a room, right? So this is a data mart, and what happens is once you put all the data into data mart, and those reporting guys generate the OLAP cubes, and that's in the reports. Okay, they generate the reports. So this is how the one of the project sample project actually for an 8 right. Okay, now a simple project could be, as I told you, right, a simple project might be here, might end up here, and also this too. Okay, they want to put up the whole data into reporting and office data store. But not always the case would be simple. So the reporting guys told, no, we need more data, we need more accurate information because business requires a lot of information from their salary, not just salary, but their wages, limits, and all those things. So that's the reason we want to do more transformation and get this. Okay, so this is the process, complete process. But where you actually belong, you're a tester in just one part here or somewhere. That's it. Or if you're doing report testing, sure. In manual also there will be report testing, okay? Manual testing. Sometimes they'll ask you what kind of reports have you tested. Okay, so manual testing. No ETL or nothing, but still you want to know that because you want to make sure you know this. Okay. Any questions so far? So this is the important thing. If you're going the ETL guy, and from actually I think from tomorrow, right? Your ETL classes start. So you want to know this before because even if you know everything, okay, you want to know this process. This process is very important. Okay, so now let's see here in this ETL process, there's something called job scheduling. You see here, this is job scheduling. Now since we already discussed, right? Can anyone say why do we use job scheduling? Anyone?
To control the jobs, like schedule the jobs to run on some time. Some job has to be run on specific time. Then we can schedule that in Control M tool.
Okay, close it up. Anyone else? Yeah, that's close. Yeah, that's what you do here. But question is, why do you want to do that? Okay, yeah, that's good. Now let's just close and it's a good answer. At least someone came up saying right. Okay, that's good. So here, the reason you need this job scheduling tool, right? Let's go back to our actually maybe I didn't say this in first class, right? Because it's lot of issues, right? So what you have is you have three environments, right? You have this dev environment, test environment, and production environment, right? Now, all this work, all this process is actually done. Okay, here, is done in dev environment. Okay, a dev environment, and what happens is you want to. So I hope everybody understands what's environment, right? If you don't understand what's environment, then take it as server. Okay, if you don't understand what's environment, server. So dev server, test server, and production server. Three different servers, three different machines. Okay, three different things. So what happens is once this and all this is done in the dev environment, right? All this transformation and all these things. So lots of code, right? Lots of code. Then you have to move that whole data, whatever they moved, to transform this whole logic and all those things, right? To test environment. So that's a different machine. Okay. Now, you cannot tell me that just copy and paste, that doesn't work. Okay, you use a job scheduling tool. So what it does, what it has various SQL queries, the shell scripts, okay, shell scripts which triggers actually let's say if you're using Informatica, okay, it triggers the flow, so that flow, that Informatica workflow gets triggered, and that workflow is actually, whatever the source have to put in, will dump it into a different database or different environment. Okay, so that's the reason you need job scheduling to move your whole data from one environment to another environment. Okay, so that is the use of this job scheduling tool. So there are many tools. Even Informatica does that. Manager, workflow manager, and you can monitor in workflow monitor. But you can use this third-party tool like Autosys, Control M, Maestro. So these are various tools. So you will not use all of them, but one, two, and also they have lots. So the job scheduling tool is whole world, you know, because they also have this, as somebody said, right? You have this daily schedules, daily runs. They have this daily run. Okay, then I have independent jobs, dependent jobs. Because if you're kicked out that one job, you have to make sure that other job also should be run because that's dependent. Okay, so there is a lot of the whole world. Job scheduling will be the whole world actually. So sometimes there is a requirement saying that only job you need to know, Autosys, only Autosys, and you have to work in that only because you will be only working on this job scheduling, which shell script to run, which shell script not to run. Okay, if there's anything you have to modify the shell script and all those stuff. So this will in big companies, this will be pretty much whole world. Okay. In small companies, you have to manage yourself, run the job by yourself, check with the people, and run this. Okay. So that's the job scheduling tool here. Okay. Now here, if we go here, so you have various tools for the reporting, right? So these are various tools. BO means business objects. So you have this version Boxy. This is called as Boxy. That means business objects. XI means 11th version. Okay. So they're putting Roman numerical XI and they call it as Boxy. So that was, I got confused, right? So I know actually business objects. So I used to know these business objects, but I didn't know that they would call this Boxy. So, so somebody, I know my lead actually said, okay, so you know this Boxy, right? So I'm like, oh, what's this Boxy? I said, yeah, I know. So later I found out like it's actually business object XI is written in Roman numericals is like 11th version. So that's how the name came is about C. Okay, so this business objects and this this again Cognos, that's from IBM. Okay, so Bio is from SAP Technologies, Cognos is from IBM, SSRS from his Microsoft. Okay, SSAS is SQL Server Reporting Services and SQL Server Analytical Services. Microsoft ODI is from Oracle. Okay, so these are various tools, but not necessarily be using all of them, but good to know. You need to know these tools, what tools you will be using. Okay, these tools will be here to generate these reports. Okay. Now, so let's say even if you hire as a report tester, let's say you're a report tester. So see, here's the thing: if you're going as an ETL tester, then they expect that you know QA. Okay. Now, if you're going as a report tester, that means they expect that you also know QA and the whole ETL process. This is the whole ETL process. They expect that you know all this, what they've been doing in between and all of this. Because the reports is generated last, right? It's not in between or last. So if you're saying a report tester, that means you also supposed to know ETL. The reason because in the report testing, right, they have this all graphs. It's not always functionality. Sometimes they have this graphs, okay, and they have some value for the graph. Let's say 2.5 and 3, some value, right? Now you want your job is a tester, report tester. So what you do is you have to see that value is right. Okay, so you have to write a pretty complex SQL query at the back end and see that you get this some small value 2.53. You have to merge a lot of you have to link with the database and see that because you're doing a lot of transformation here, right? So that's what sometimes you have to do this convoluted process that's called report testing. Okay. So, but functionality wise, that's fine. But if you're, SQL, you have to write pretty lengthy SQL to see that the report value is correct or not. Okay. So here, let's bug tracking tools. We have talked about bug tracking tools, right? So that's what it is. HPALM. So before used to QC, so it's QC. And this XML. This is a different tool. It's not a bug tracking. It's XML validated tool. Okay. Traditional ClearQuest, and this is ClearQuest for configuration management, and WinSCP used for Unix. And for scripting, SQL, PL SQL, you use Unix for shell scripting. Okay, so scripting, Perl scripting, you use Unix. And see, as I told you, right, what are the different types of reports? These are the types of reports. Okay, the drill down report, drill up report, group list, scorecard, breakdowns. These are the reports. Okay. And so what are the different databases? Still ask you what are the different databases you have used. So you use SQL Server, Netezza, Oracle, DB2, Sybase, Teradata. So the only databases, the only difference comes is when you're using SQL. Okay, it doesn't matter what database. The database is used to store data. So whatever database, even I have this full database I use. So only the problem comes is when you're using the SQL. The syntax for all these databases are different. It's the same. So all these databases you use to store data. That's it. No big deal. But only problem is how you use SQL here. Okay. Now you have these functions, lot of functions in the SQL, right? This may not work in Netezza. This will not work in SQL Server. They have their own functions. They have their own. So that's the only thing. Okay. If you know one database, let's say Oracle and its function, that's enough. So the syntax will be different. Syntax will be different. Rest is will be similar. The function might be not there, but you can use the alternative way to get this data pulled out from the database. Other than that, this will be good. Okay, so that's the databases. And now this was an interview question, right? So there was one interview question here. So what, they asked, what are the common issues that you faced in your project? Okay, what's the common issue? So here's the thing. These are the common issues. Data mismatch. Okay, when you're writing SQL queries, you write this source query, target query, right? So data mismatch, data reconciliation, data transformation. Sometimes you have issues with the data preparation of test data. Okay, sometimes the data is not good, is not correct. Okay, so that might be an issue. Data quality, of course. So the issue here, data quality is right. Sometimes you have a lot of spaces in the database, and when you're trying to test this, a lot of spaces are coming, so that's data quality is not good. Or sometimes like you have data which scrambled, like uppercase, lowercase, this does not do this data quality is not good. So you want to make sure the data quality is good. Okay, data completeness, data profile. So these are the common issues. This was an interview question. What are the common issues in your retail project? Okay, we came across. So you want to answer this. Okay, this is okay. So these are actually a few of them are interview question. What are the common issues with the data? What are the types of reports you have tested? These are the reports that you have tested. Okay. What scripting you use? You use for Unix. What are the various databases you have used? These are the databases. And yeah, these are a few of the interview questions.
What are the challenges in preparation of test data?
I'm sorry. What is the question again?
What are the challenges in preparation of test data?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, that could be that is an interview question. That's a very good question. So I know. So when you ask, interviewer asks, right, what did your challenges face when you prepared the test data? Okay. So what happens is, right, you have to answer. Yeah. So we actually, when I used to work, there was a different team actually who was working for the test data because we required a lot of, test data, and we used to coordinate a lot. So what happened is the data which was required by our team was actually not enough, okay, because something happened, one of our team member from the test data actually, left the job. So, we had that kind of issue. And so what we did is, we tried ourselves to try to get, data by ourselves, putting into application, putting the data into the application, trying to get in the database and see, pull out the data. So that's the challenge because some of the time was consumed to prepare data by ourselves. So that is, but still we were able to deliver the project in time. That's one of the thing you can answer that when the interviewer asks. What are the challenges you have faced here? Means this is what you can say. Okay. Actually, we were working with a different team who prepared the data for us because we require really a lot of data for our testing because we want to make sure we are taking a lot of samples to make sure the production is good. So we required different team altogether, but the problem was one of the team guy actually left the team, so we worked on this to get our data by ourselves, and that took a lot of time. Um, but still we managed to cover our test cases in time. So that was one of the challenge I faced when preparing the test data. Does it make sense? Yeah, I mean, you have to a little bit, yeah, that doesn't come one day or 2 day, yeah, it comes with experience, but yeah, that's what you want to say that whenever ask the question. Okay. So yeah, you can you can just make it up if somebody asks a question. Okay, what are the challenges did you face in your project? Okay, this is one of the things you can say, and you can also say, yeah, what, we actually were working with a team, and we were coordinating a lot with the developer guys, and we were working with them. But thing is, those guys are new to the agile since all our team was new to Agile, so they were not knowing the responsibility. So you know what, we used to work together to make sure we are in the same page. Okay, we are in the same page, and we are working as per the requirement. And so that's how that was one of the challenge. Because in Agile environment, right, the people were a lot of requirements was getting changed, a lot of user stories. So we used to have a meeting with all of these guys so that we are on the same page. So that was one of the challenge, or what I faced, time. That's what you can say. I mean, you can make it up anything, but make sure it is, related to the project. Okay. And let's roles and responsibilities. As I told you, right, there's a lot of people will be working on. So this is EU ETL tester, and this will be ETL developer who will be actually developing. Okay, and DBA, DBA database administrator, database modeler will be a whole different guy altogether. And then we also data architect. Okay, who is working on it to see how the data will be, what are the tables required, what are the columns is required, and how the data should move. What are the transformations? All this is taken care by data architect. And data analyst, which actually see that the data is good or not. This guy actually normally prepares mapping documents. Not always, but data architect also sometimes takes some responsibility, but it depends on the project. Okay, so they analyze the data, what is good and what is not, how the data quality is, and all those things. Okay, and then so this is about this ETL, right? Once you go to BI, that is the reporting. You have this BI developer too. Okay, BI developer, BI tester. And project manager, for all this you need a project manager. So this is the guy. That's called Scrum Master in Agile. In Agile, it's called Scrum Master. And then you have this business analyst to tell what's exactly the requirement is. What does the business wants? Okay, this guy is the one who, to tell developer what you have to develop. Okay, what's the requirements? This guy gives the requirements. This guy will develop, and the ETL tester will test that. Oops. Okay, so that's how it is. So here, business analyst is product owner in Agile. And this one guy is system architect, who is, this guy is pretty much high level. This guy goes till server, how many servers is required, okay, and how many connections are required, and all those things. How many people are working on that? How many more servers? So it's kind of system, right? Goes pretty high level. These are the people. There's a few people. I mean, there can be more than this, but a few people. So you guys have this document actually in the Google Drive. Okay, you can get it. Okay, let me show you the quick. So this is pretty much about this ETL ETL project. Okay, you'll not be doing everything here, but you'll be just testing one part here. But you want to know this project so that you have some. If you guys are coming to mock interview for me, so I'll be expecting this, that you will be explaining. Okay, you can explain the same thing what I told, but I want to be make sure you want to be a little bit creative. Like saying that this is a migration project. Now we are working on upgrading project. Now there was some source. We are trying to upgrade the source, so we are putting a lot of data. You want to be creative when you want to say. You don't want to say the same thing, right? Once you get the whole idea, so you can make it up yourself, right? So maybe you can put one more database saying that now we are migrating we are migrating, but we still having all these files because there's some old data which you want to consolidate. You want to consolidate all the old files and new files and put into this target. Okay, so that would become a migration. Okay, so here, see here. So, everyone has access to this, right? Once you go here. So this is what complete ETL process. So you can go to this, get the same thing. So just try to go to here and try to understand. This will be the project actually. Normally any project, okay, sample. This is sample. It can be, they can modify. They can put database in between. They can put any other thing in between. I generate one more reporting from here because it's a complex project. Okay, so on. But a sample project is, this kind of template for the project. But this can be, more than this, less than this. So this is, about ETL. Any questions?
As a ETL tester, who will be having direct contact with?
So the foremost guy, the contact will be your lead tester. You will be having contact to your lead. So anyone, even if you're a developer, ETL developer, or you're a developer, you'll be contacting with your lead. Your lead wants to. Lead can be an architect guy. Okay, in developer point of view, there can be architect, or those guys will be different. It's fine, but as a tester, you will be managing 3 to 4 people, right? So your first and foremost contact will be your lead. You don't want to approach for every small thing to your boss. Okay, it's not really appropriate to approach for small things to your boss. Always try to solve issues because your boss doesn't like issues. Okay, they'll not see the issue. So most of issues should be solved from the lead, and lead mostly your lead will be helpful to you. Okay, they'll try to be helpful. So even if it's not,
For the requirement, we will be contacting not the boss, right? We'll be contacting business analyst or somebody else, right?
right. So when you have any questions and something requirement specific, yes, correct. You have to contact particular business analyst. Okay, try to check them. Hey, there's having some questions. This user story, this user story 181, 182. So is it you? Is it you're responsible for that? Okay, did you want the business analyst for that user story? And if they say yes, then you can ask the question. So that's how. Yeah. If you have any questions and requirements, you want to approach business analyst. If you have if you have any questions, so once you get a rapport, you can directly approach developers too. If you have any questions related to issues, this issue is showing up. There's too much information is here. You can directly approach to the developer. Again, you have to see things are pretty different for every company. Okay, so even if you want to approach, say, let's take an example, Wells Fargo. Okay, in Wells Fargo, right? It actually in my project, they didn't want to communicate. The testers are not supposed to communicate to developers, right? The testers are not supposed to communicate to developers, and they have to communicate to the lead, and the lead sends all the email, whatever it to the developer. So that's it's a little bit kind of stiff environment. So yeah, if there is anything, you have to also try to understand that and see you follow the protocol. See what happened, right? There was a one bug, and I sent a developer, developer, and the next day get a big email from my boss saying that you are not supposed to communicate with the developer and not putting CC everyone. So that's what happens. Okay. So there are some rigid environment there, but if it is flexible, yes, you can directly contact with developers and team members. That should be okay. Most of the time it will be flexible, but Wells Fargo had some kind of typical rigid environment. So any more questions? Oh, and actually, in the syllabus, you also have this few of these interview questions. You can go ahead, you can look at it and see. And if if you really require some Unix, kind of cheat sheet, let me know. This doesn't have all of this, but it's good to have this if you are if you're preparing for interview. You just want to know what are this. Pretty use of these uh, commands that any questions from the Unix you can answer it. Okay. And the sequel to this basic of the SQL, and this is joins most key functions. You want to know these functions of the SQL. Yeah. So this is document here. If anyone requires it, I can send it. Okay. Um, but this will you'll be holding this whole in the class. I go and send this class. So I don't think you will require, but if you really require, you can send me an email so that I can send you. And yeah, and actually, you know what? Actually, let's see here. Um, if you want to practice SQL and if you're not able to do it, there is one. So there's actually MySQL. This is a little bit different, okay? But let's see. This is like web kind of thing, okay? So here what you can do is this is a little bit slow. This will be a little slow, but thing is you can practice SQL here too. Let's say if you'll be practicing most of the time Oracle SQL. Okay, that's from Oracle. MySQL is different. Okay, but here the syntax, this kind of the inline views, okay, the subqueries, nested subqueries, and all those things, right? Um, that will be similar here. So if I know this is two tables what I created, and if I use this, let's say, these things, few of things will work. I've not tried for going into detail of this queries, maybe So here you can try this if you're having some problem, okay, and you can try this and okay. Actually, I've got just two tables for testing. So maybe I can put. Okay, so if you want this login information, maybe I can also do that. So we practice SQL here too. For your convenience, actually. If you're okay, then that's fine. There's no issues. If you're not, then you can practice here. But again, syntax will be different, so we don't explain these functions. All these functions you need to see that may not work, but still there is a way to figure it out. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today? Yeah, somebody asked that we have a class tomorrow. Yes, you will be having class for data warehousing. Okay, ETL data warehousing. So not my class. We'll be having Tagore's class. Okay. So sure, let's see here. Let's quickly look at it. So okay, here we go. So yeah, we'll be having this data warehousing that will be on tomorrow. Okay, data. Data warehousing in SQL. Okay, April 26th. Oh, this 26th. Yeah, today 26th. So tomorrow is 25th, right? Yeah. Maybe if I want to check it out, okay, just try to check it out. So this is the information that is given to me. Okay. So you want to check it out, is it 25th or 26th? Okay. Any more questions? Okay, yeah. Thank you guys and good luck.